If you're approaching college applications and you believe one of these two myths about test optional policies, I want you to pause and take a look at what's actually happening. Over the past several years, we've had these two opposite trends, and they happen one right after another. First, after COVID, test optional policies exploded. They had already existed, but they really took off. And basically, as a result, families started to think, understandably, that testing didn't really matter. But then more recently, some very prominent schools, so big state universities and some of the Ivies and kind of near Ivies, started moving back to test required. And because some of these schools were ones that got a disproportionate amount of attention, a lot of parents started to think, okay, well now all schools are moving back to requiring testing. The problem is neither of these assumptions is fully correct, and the real picture is much more school specific. At some schools, scores are required or extremely important. At others, it's test optional, but your score can make a big difference in your application. And at a final pool of schools, you can test, but it really won't help you that much. But the mistake families make, of course, when they believe one of these two extremes is that you either put in too much work that you didn't have to, or put in not enough work when your score could have been a real asset. Because the worst time to suddenly realize that testing matters is the end of junior year when you've got finals and APs, not to mention all of the other things going on in your life. The good news is that families who start to think about this early have plenty of time, and summer is coming up and it's a great time to start. And to be clear, by starting, I mean taking a practice test, figuring out strengths and weaknesses, whether testing makes sense for you, and what a plan looks like. The SAT doesn't need to be a last-minute panic project. Again, if we approach this strategically, that score can be an asset. Message me PREP, P-R-E-P. You can take a look at where you currently stand and put a game plan together.